The Lives of the Saints by Father Alban Butler, February 9th. St Apollonia of Alexandria, A.D. 249. St Dionysius of Alexandria wrote to Fabius, Bishop of Antioch, a relation of the persecution raised at Alexandria by the heathen populace of that city in the last year of the reign of the Emperor Philip. A certain poet of Alexandria, who pretended to foretell things to come, stirred up this great city against the Christians on the motive of religion. The first victim of their rage was a venerable old man named Metrus, or Metrius, whom they would have compelled to utter impious words against the worship of the true God, which, when he refused to do, they beat him with staffs, thrust splinters of reeds into his eyes, and having dragged him into one of the suburbs, stoned him to death. The next person they seized was a Christian woman called Quinta, whom they carried to one of their temples to pay divine worship to the idol. She loaded the execrable divinity with many reproaches, which so exasperated the people that they dragged her by the heels upon the pavement of sharp pebbles, cruelly scourged her, and put her to the same death. The rioters by this time were in the height of their fury. Alexandria seemed like a city taken by storm. The Christians made no opposition, but betook themselves to flight, and beheld the loss of their goods with joy, for their hearts had no ties on earth. Their constancy was equal to their disinterestedness, for of all who fell into their hands, St Dionysius knew of none that renounced Christ. The admirable Apollonia, whom old age and the state of virginity rendered equally venerable, was seized by them. Their repeated blows on her jaws beat out all her teeth. At last they made a great fire without the city, and threatened to cast her into it if she did not utter certain impious words. She begged a moment's delay, as if it had been to deliberate on the proposal. But, to convince her persecutors that her sacrifice was perfectly voluntary, she no sooner found herself at liberty than of her own accord she leaped into the flames. They next exercised their fury on a holy man called Serapion, and tortured him in his own house with great cruelty. After bruising his limbs, disjointing and breaking his bones, they threw him headlong from the top of the house on the pavement, and so completed his martyrdom. A civil war among the pagan citizens put an end to their fury this year, but the Edict of Decius renewed it in 250. See the rest of the relation on the 27th of February. An ancient church in Rome, which is frequented with great devotion, bears the name of St Apollonia, under whose patronage we meet with churches and altars in most parts of the Western Church. The last part of our saint's conduct is not proposed to our imitation, as self-murder is unjustifiable. If any among the fathers have commended it, they presumed, with St Augustine, that it was influenced by a particular direction of the Holy Ghost, or was the effect of a pious simplicity, founded in motives of holy zeal and charity. For it can never be lawful for a person by any action willfully to concur to, or hasten his own death, though many martyrs out of an ardent charity, and desire of laying down their lives for God, and being speedily united to him, anticipated the executioners in completing their sacrifice. Among the impious, absurd, and false maxims of the pagan Greeks and Romans, scarce anything was more monstrous than the manner in which they canonized suicide in distress as a remedy against temporal miseries and a point of heroism. To bear infamy and all kind of sufferings with unshaken constancy and virtue is true courage and greatness of soul, and the test and triumph of virtue. And to sink under misfortunes is the most unworthy baseness of soul. But what name can we find for the pusillanimity of those who are not able so much as to look humiliations, poverty, or affliction in the face? Our life we hold of God, and he who destroys it injures God, to whom he owes it. He refuses also to his friends and to the republic of mankind the comfort and succors which they are entitled in justice or charity to receive from him. Moreover, if to murder another is the greatest temporal injustice a man can commit against a neighbor, life being of all temporal blessings the greatest and most noble, suicide is a crime so much more enormous as the charity which everyone owes to himself, especially to his immortal soul, is stricter, more noble, and of a superior order to that which he owes to his neighbor.